Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous class, we have discussed about mm, three classes till now we have completed. In that, we have completed what is networking. So we all know that what is network or networking. So inside that, we have known about some network types. Inside that also, we have learned things like network topologies. Okay. So, in the last class, I missed interview questions in network topologies. So, here I'm going to tell those questions. So, we have discussed few questions. What are that? What is a topology? And how many types of topologies are there? And also need to describe each and every topology. So for example, you need to describe a LAN topology, sorry, bus, mesh, star, etc. Any of the topology, if the interviewer asks, could you please explain mesh topology? So if any interviewer asks you anything about like, do you know about this type of topology? You need to tell like, yes, I know this type of topology. These type of questions you can raise in your like interviewer can raise the questions in your interviews for networking. So and one more question that would be like common question: what is the difference between any of the two? For example, difference between mesh and star. It could be any of the two topologies. Okay. So now in today's topic, we are going to learn an interesting thing, that is, this is class 4 domain controller. So all these concepts will useful in your SOC as well as in different domains of cybersecurity. So what is a domain controller? To know that, we need to know how a domain controller works. For example, I am a user who wants to connect Google. Okay. So here are the Google applications. So there might be Google have Chrome, Docs, matlab documents, Sheets, Drive, Meet, so on. Okay. These are the example I have taken. So if I wanted to connect Google Chrome or Google Docs or Google Sheets or Google Drive or Google Meet, I need to use domain controller server. So I am drawing here one of the DC. Okay. In this, we are having one type of thing that we will call as Active Directory. Okay. So it is a server. It is a programming code like a protocol. Okay. Or you can say it is a process. So whenever I wanted to connect Google, any of the application from user console, UI, user interface to Google, I will directly reach to the domain controller server to the Active Directory. From there, the Active Directory take me to the Google Chrome. This example, when I have or I am an existing user in Google services. Okay. So firstly, what happens? I'll open Chrome and I will sign into the Chrome. That sign in request will be going to directly to the domain controller. From here, there will be a specific folder for my user. It will check whether I am having Google Chrome access or not. If I'm having, it will directly redirect me to the Google Chrome application and it will open with my account. In the same process, if I wanted to connect any of the Google Meet or Drive, I can easily connect when I'm having an existing account from the Google. Okay. For example, I am a new user. I don't have any of the Google accounts. At this particular moment, what can I do? At this particular moment, you will send a new request to create your account at that particular moment or at that particular time frame or at that particular uh, period. Google will generate a particular folder or a folder for you. That folder having whatever the accesses from the Google itself, it will store your all the credentials. From there, you can redirect to the any of the applications in the Google. Okay. So this is how a domain controller works. So when a user wants to connect with Google, we need to sign in with or sign up with the domain controller server. In the domain controller server, there is an Active Directory process will be happen. In that Active Directory, there is authentication and authorization will be happen. These two extra process will grant the permissions of Google applications. So what it could be? So now let me scroll up. So here now we have discussed authentication. What is an authentication? So when you have given user ID or password to the user console, from there it will send it to domain controller. Inside the domain controller, Active Directory will ask authentication to check whether these user is existing or not. That means, are you a legitimate user? It will ask to the authentication. Is this particular user is a legitimate user, already existing user or not? If yes, it will forward the request to the authorization. So here authentication is completed. Now authorization. What authorization checks is, so you are a legitimate user, I can give you access. But what access should I give it to you? For example, in the Google, you are having some premium, like Google business account you have. For example, I am having normal Google account, but you are having premium account. When you have login, you will redirect to premium account of your Google. But when I log in, I will get free tier account. At, at this thing, you can differentiate like authorization will check what type of accesses, whether you are having paid service accesses or free tier accesses. it will check those access and it will grant the permission. Grant the permissions. Or you can simply say it will give you the roles. Role-based access we can call simply. So, okay. This is how authentication and authorization will be working. So I hope people are understood somewhat about domain controller. The same way we can also discuss just a second, I'll erase and I'll explain. So here we have discussed about Google and also the same process you can do with the Microsoft also. What Microsoft does when a user connected to the Active Directory, where Azure has or Microsoft has Azure Active Directory, which is in cloud. Okay. From there, you can directly redirect to Microsoft 365, Microsoft security applications, Microsoft, whatever the Microsoft applications or products, you can directly redirect from there itself if you're having accesses by using authentication and authorization. Now, one more example now we will discuss. For example, I am a user who is using Amazon. So it is an Amazon domain controller. So Amazon has different products like Prime and shopping and also music, Amazon Music. Let's take these three examples. From here, I can log in by using user ID or user email and password. From these two fields, I will come over here, Active Directory, and I'll ask Active Directory, could you please give me access to Prime? Yes, I can give you access. But before giving access, it will check whether you are existing user or not. Yes, if you are existing user, it will check your identity, whether you are a legitimate user or not. Yes, I am a legitimate user. And also it will check you are a premium member or you are a basic version member. These type of checkings, it would be done at Prime or Active Directory, or you can say simply domain controller. These checkings will be completely done with domain controller. Okay. These domain controller will give the access whatever you require. The same process when you are a new applicant, it will create a new folder for you in that Azure Active Directory. In the directory, it will store all your passwords. From there, it will give you authentication authorization processes and it will give you the access of particular applications. So you have understood somewhat about Active Directory. Let us take a generic example or a general example for Active Directory or domain controller. Okay. For example, we are in a college. So in that college, this is a classroom. This is a classroom where this is a door. I am a student. Okay. And here there is a lecturer would be there. After that, this is a board. And it is the lecturer's table. And the top of the table, there would be a register. Okay. And there are so many benches to sit students. Okay. When a user wants to enter into the class, he will ask, may I come in, sir? Then this lecturer would be authenticate that student whether he is existing student or not. Yes, if he is existing student, he will mark him into the present in the register, and he will access and he will grant him to inside. He will allow that student inside the classroom, and he will uh, say him to sit somewhere. At that particular time, student will come inside and he will mark as present as a register, and he will sit wherever the space is empty. Wherever the space is empty means, for example, this bench requires an application for which he wants. He can directly come and sit over here. Like this, we can take an general example. For example, user can be a student or user. So as our previous domain controller example, we need to compare with that. This door is a process of domain controller. And here, lecturer is an authentication authorization process. And this register is Active Directory. And this whole class is domain controller, and these benches are applications whichever you need to log in. This is what we need to discuss about domain controller. Okay. Now, one more thing I wanted to inform you in this domain controller. Have you ever heard about SSO, which is nothing but single sign on? It is very similar to domain controller, but it is some different features. For example, I am a user who is working as a SOC analyst, okay, where I use a SSO third-party tool as a DO or Okta, these two services. So as a SOC analyst, once I log into this third-party application, okay, so here this application is having or integrated with Splunk or SIM, any of the SIM, or EDR, or any ticketing tool, Snow, or any of the application like firewall. So let us take these four examples. So whenever I log into this third-party application SSO, it will take me four of the applications at a time. Like I don't need to re-log in again to the SIM in a different way. I don't need to log into the EDR in a different way. Each and every time I should not apply my user ID password again and again and again. The single sign-on helps me by using these type of third-party tools that takes me any of the application integrated with SSO. It will directly log in by using these SSO application features. So here there would be a question in your mind, sir, the Active Directory also doing the same. What is the main difference between domain controller and SSO? So domain controller will only particular to a domain. So the name itself says whether it is a Google, it will give only or it will give only access to the Google applications. Whether it is a Amazon, it will give only Amazon applications. Whether it is a Microsoft, it will give Microsoft applications only. But single sign-on will integrate multiple applications with multiple different products. For example, you can connect with firewall, SIM, EDR, ticketing tool, and so on. Different types of tools you can directly using single sign-on. But domain controller, you can only log into the particular domain products. This is how we differentiate domain controller and single sign-on. So now we will discuss about few interview questions on this. So first question would be, what is domain controller? Second would be, what is mm, Active Directory? Third, what is authentication? Fourth is, what is authorization? And fifth one is, what is single sign-on? And sixth one would be difference between SSO and domain controller. These type of questions can be asked in interviews by an interviewer in these topics. And here, the definitions I wanted to display here. So I forgot to write definitions for domain controller. It is a centralized server which has Active Directory, to process the users requests by using authentication and authorization. Now, authentication. What is an authentication? Authentication is the process so it is a process that identify the users legitimate or not. Now, authorization. It is a process that checks or grants the access for the user. So these are the definitions I wanted to tell you in this class, and those are the interview questions. I hope you all are understand. If anyone having any doubt in the domain controller topic or this topic or any other topic, you can directly comment in the comment box so that I will explain that query in the next class. Till then, bye bye. We will meet in the next class. Uh, Thanks for joining once again. Signing off, Black Hat Commando.